Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to do a brief video to kind of show you some recent additions to my collection, also some things I've been up to since I last did a video, as well as gifts that have been coming in from friends and also from the hobby. It's been a pretty busy week. I've had family in town, so I've taken some of my nephews to go to a card shop, and we picked up some supplies, bought some cards to open, so I wanted to kind of go through that as well. But one of the first things I was doing before the holidays, I was going through one of my old storage bins that I had up in the attic because I wanted to start storing things a little bit differently and consolidating some of the information I had in there. I don't have everything to show you, but I just wanted to show you some things that I was able to pick out of there, and I was able to get the right kind of, we could say more or less, card savers, if you will, or top loaders for some of the items. So I wanted to kind of just show you some of the things I pulled out. One of the ones actually was something I've shown before. This is the Brooks Robinson photograph that I got when I was very young from my dad. He got it autographed on here, so I'm not going to put that in the background, but just so you can kind of see the things I was kind of going through, or pictures and autographs and things like that in there. One of the things that I did find, and I had this on my channel probably over a year and a half ago, so I found it, but I pulled it out again. I got a better, obviously a top loader to be able to kind of store it a little bit better, was a fan giveaway from the 1915 or 1950 St. Louis Cardinals season. As you can see, this is a team photo that has facsimile autographs on here. It's pretty cool. This is a game my father attended with my grandfather and his brother down at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis in 1950. So there's definitely some bigger names in here, including Stan Musial, who's right up here in the front of the photograph. Enos Slaughter's in here too, so is Red Shandies and Joe Garagiola. It's just some of the names that kind of stand out. Marty Marion is still in here somewhere in this photo. I'd have to kind of spend a little time following them. There's actually Joe Garagiola right up here. This is really cool. So I wanted to get it into like a better protected sleeve. At some point, I want to be able to actually create a card room in here and actually do it right. And I think I'll probably have something like this up. Also featuring some cards from that era of, like, for example, the St. Louis Cardinals, which I do have quite a few of. But we're going to put that in the background for today's photo. And also, we went to the 2003 All-Star Game, which I've mentioned before. I think I've shown you two of the photographs that were, when you went to the game, there was an envelope beneath your seat. And if you picked up that envelope, it would say, photograph of Major League Baseball player, current or Hall of Famer or retired baseball player. They were all people who had appeared in the All-Star Game, and random ones actually had autographs in it. So the ones I had didn't have autographs. In fact, the one I think I opened had Roberto Clemente, so it wasn't going to be autographed because he'd been passed away for many years by that point. And I think the other one I got, maybe been from my brother-in-law, was Cal Ripken, which I really enjoyed because he was one of my favorite players growing up. I didn't realize my dad never opened his, so it was still sealed. So I was really curious. I could see through the paper had faded enough where you could actually see into it a bit, and you could see that it was a Chicago White Sox player, and I was kind of curious. I'm like, okay, who is this, and is it maybe signed? It was in a 1960s uniform, so I'm kind of wondering, is this Luis Aparicio, and is it signed? Well, it is Luis Aparicio, but it's not signed, unfortunately. But that would have been really cool if it was, but there's my backdrop there. We got Luis Aparicio. Some of the things we pulled out from the storage bin was when I was a kid, I stayed after one of the White Sox games at Old Comiskey Park. This probably was 89 or 90 season, probably the 90 season. And I was able to get autograph from Carlton Fisk. I didn't have anything to sign, so somebody just gave me like a page out of their like weekly planner. So there's Carlton Fisk autograph. I remember getting that. And then there's Jeff Torborg, who's got a really nice signature, who was the manager of the team at that time. So those are going to be our backdrops for today's video. I thought those were kind of cool. Other things we kind of pulled out there was an unused ticket from the final season at Comiskey Park against the Cleveland Indians, a game in July. So no real game of any major significance, but I thought it was just kind of interesting being able to get an unused ticket. I'm sure there's quite a bit because the stadium was often empty during this era, so it's not like super rare to find an unused ticket. But it's cool just to have it in my collection because I didn't even realize I had an unused ticket until I was going through some old ticket stubs in there. And then I forgot I even had this thing. My dad actually was able to go to the playoff game, which was the American League Championship Series in 1993 against the Toronto Blue Jays. He went to game 2, which was the day game. I think he gave me the program and a t-shirt from the game. I don't know if I have the program anymore. And I don't believe I know I don't have the t-shirt. I think I wore that thing out to the point where it needed to be thrown out for the most part. But I do have a ticket from the game. It looks like he was sitting in the lower level, row 3, seat 16. So that's actually a pretty good seat. I think that might actually be near the outfield, if I'm not mistaken, for Comiskey Park at that time when it was still known as Comiskey Park before they changed the name. But thought that was pretty cool, just getting an old ticket from the playoff game. And then also, I had mentioned I had gone to the 1990 All-Star Game workout day, so the day before the All-Star Game. And these are actually the ticket stubs I found from it. So my dad and I were able to go to the game. The workout day was on Monday, July 9th. We got to see the Old Timers game at that point. They also had batting practice, and then they did a home run derby at that point, which was done in a completely different format than it is today. But those are some things I kind of pulled out of the attic. A lot more things I could show you, but I wanted to kind of keep it as brief as possible. One of the things we picked up while we were there was we did open one box of Topps Holiday, and these are the few things I pulled out as far as things that the kids didn't care that I was able to keep, and they kept the rest for the most part. Was the Snowflake version of Miguel Cabrera. So this is the one that's got the great border on it. So there you go. Got one of the SPs, a Logan Webb with the Santa hat on. And this one was fun. I got an SP of Julio Rodriguez. He's holding a present in his right hand there, if you can see it real closely. So that's the SP of that. So that was kind of fun picking that up. So we'll put good old Julio up here on a stand. So, all right, some other things I was able to get recently. The last two purchases of the year is I'm getting really close to getting this set done. I only need 2 more items for it, and one's a Hall of Famer, one isn't, so I'm really trying to hunt these down. This was one I needed, which is not a rookie card for either of them, but it's got Barry Zito and CC Sabathia, so it kind of falls in that category of Hall of Famers, future Hall of Famers, and stars, because we got 2 Cy Young Award winners on here, one of which is probably going in the Hall of Fame, but also one that had a very nice career. While he was in Oakland primarily, and had a decent career in San Francisco at times. And my final purchase of the year is I got a coupon for $10 off on eBay last week, which was only going to be good for a week. So I decided to get something I needed for a project I'm working on, which is a 1953 Bowman Complete set. So I was able to pick up the Al Lopez card in a PSA 4. This was obviously his manager card with the Cleveland Indians before he moved on to the White Sox and managed. It was nice to be able to pick this one up. It's in really good shape. The centering's a little bit off, so I think otherwise it may have been graded a bit higher. But I'm very happy to be able to pick that one up in my collection, and I hope to do a little bit more of a player/manager profile of him in the near future. All right, and then wanted to show you some gifts that have come my way in the last couple weeks, which I'm super appreciative for. The first one was a nice card from Scott at Reindeer Studios. He did these for several YouTubers, and he's got a little personalized message in there. I think it's just really, touching that he would put me on the list this year. He included some art cards that he created. Got one of Roger Maris and one of Al Kaline here. So just really appreciative, and thank you, Scott, for everything you do, and also for the hobby as well. And I'm keeping this one for sure because it's really cool and individualized, and I appreciated the personal greeting you put in there. Probably the most interesting kind of collection of gifts I got from a YouTuber was from my buddy RJ and his son Jake over at Father Son Vintage Cards, who sent me one of their personalized autograph cards based on the 1967 Topps design, which is a set that we both love, and I think was one of the reasons we started to talk a lot and became YouTube friends. He also serial numbered it 30 out of 100, so I got one of 100 of these, so I'm happy to be able to kind of add that into the collection too for my YouTubers. But he also sent along some really cool items, starting with some Diamond Stars, which he knows I'm a big fan of. So the first one was Ossie Bluji, who played for the Washington Senators. I think he's in the Senators Hall of Fame, so obviously that's carried over to now where they play, but I think he was part of that original group that was inducted into their personal sort of Hall of Fame. And he is probably best known for his time in the front office with the Washington Senators and signing or being part of the signing and development of a Harmon Killebrew, who later obviously went on to play for the Twins as well. And then he also included a Sam Rice card from the same set, the 35 Sam Rice when he's in his Cleveland uniform here. Really touching card. He was able to kind of think of adding these diamond stars and sending them on my way. Just a really cool story about Sam Rice, who I've profiled on this channel before. He definitely overcame a lot of personal loss and adversity in his life. So I think he's a really an inspirational story if you ever had a chance to be able to learn a little bit more about it. If you want to learn a little more about it, feel free to kind of look through my old videos and you'll be able to find a Diamond Star story of Sam Rice. And then the final link actually had also included a couple packs of 88 score in there, which brought back a lot of good memories. The only Hall of Famer we got was Barry Larkin out of the 2 packs, but we also got one of my favorite White Sox player that era, Ozzie Guillen, Darryl Strawberry, and then one of my favorite Cardinals of that era, Vince Coleman. I actually got 2 Vince Colemans across 2 packs, which was kind of funny. And then we also got an autographed photograph of White Sox pitcher Gary Peters. One of their better pitchers during the 1960s is actually someone I met in person too and got an autograph from at the National in 2019. He has since passed, I believe, at the beginning of this year. So it was really nice to be able to kind of receive this from Jake and RJ. And the fact that it's obviously autographed is a bonus on top of it, but really cool. He and Joe Horlin were kind of the big hurlers for the White Sox in the mid to late 60s. And then the final pickup was actually from my good friend Robbie, who has been on the channel. He sent me along this. It was a part of a larger gift, so he put some baseball cards in there, and I really appreciate it. He sent me this Ricky Henderson right here from, I believe it was 2006 Topps. They did a Rookie of the Week selection, so he sent me over a Ricky Henderson, which is cool. Definitely a good, different interpretation on the lovely 1980 set design that he's included in as a rookie. And then he's also a big collector right now of the 2022 Topps Anniversary Chrome set, which is based on the 1953 Topps design. And he sent me over some serial numbered White Sox cards. So we got Al Lopez in there. I don't know the names of these, but I can tell you this one's numbered out of 100. So it goes nice with obviously the Al Lopez you see behind you. This is him with the White Sox and then with the Indians. Yasmani Grandal, who's no longer with the Sox. That one's numbered out of 199. I like the blue borders on that. Luis Aparicio. That one's numbered out of 250. Paul Konerko. If you're my age, he's one of your favorite players for the White Sox for sure. Numbered out of 100. And then my guy, Jose Abreu, obviously who's not with the White Sox anymore. But this one's also numbered out of 250. So that's it, guys. I hope you had a chance to have a great holiday and we'll have a great new year. I'm going to now put all this stuff away and I'll be back again this weekend with my year-end recap. Take care.